what's going on, you guys? I'm gonna head out on another adventure today with a few buddies of mine. Jerry James, who was in the last video, Seth Duimstra, again, who was in the last video, and someone I don't think you've met before, David Behrens. These are all local Michigan photographers, and I'm supposed to be cleaning up this pigsty of a room back here. My wife is gonna hate me for leaving today, but I've got all of this crap out here that I need to organize. I'm just really bad about keeping this space organized. You know, I've got the shelf up here where everything stays mostly organized, but then when you get down to the computer desk, everything is just a big giant mess. It's pretty bad. But one of the reasons I'm going out today too, though, is I haven't gone out and shot with my friends in a couple of weeks, and I've got some new gear to test out. Vanguard sent me a new tripod as part of the VEO series, the VEO265AB. It's the VEO2 actually, so it's the newer model that has the quarter twist lock legs right here, and it's the aluminum version. I've got a carbon fiber version, but I'm going to give this aluminum version a run for its money today. It's one of their portable tripods, so it'll be perfect for kind of packing out and doing a little walking today. So the tripod is one of the things that I'm going to be taking out, and I've also got a new backpack to try out. So the other backpack that I tend to carry around with me everywhere is the big Alta Sky, and it's big, and I don't want to carry a bunch of gear today. I want to pack light, and this is one of the VEO line of backpacks too. It's the Discover 46. Smaller bag. One of the cool things that I like about it that I'll end up reviewing is the strap system in the back. You can see that the shoulder straps are actually zipped up together, so you can wear it as a sling. Pretty cool. So I guess today is just going to be a photography adventure slash put new gear through its paces kind of thing. So I'm going to shut this off, and I'm going to get to packing and hit the road and do some shooting. We'll see you guys in a little bit. Alright, so I'm waiting for Seth to arrive, and we're going to meet up with Jerry James and David Behrens up near Grand Rapids, Michigan. I'm not really sure what we're shooting, so it's been hard to pack for this. So I just kind of rounded things out a little bit and ended up taking the 7-14, the 12-100, the 45mm f1.2, and the 60mm macro. Now I know it sounds like a lot of gear, but it's really not. You saw the backpack that I'm taking, that new VEO backpack, super small, and of course I'm taking a travel tripod, a compact tripod with me as well, and I think that that combination of gear is going to allow me to shoot quite a few different things while not really focusing on wildlife with long telephoto lenses. It's going to provide me with some opportunities for macro work with the 60mm. The 45mm will let me just kind of shoot my buddies and I while we're out shooting some portrait type work. And also, being at f1.2, I got crazy shallow depth of field for isolating subjects while we're out walking. I think we're doing some nature type areas, but we're right on the edge of Grand Rapids, which is a pretty large city, so it could end up being like an urban street shooting kind of a scenario. So that's kind of how I tailored the gear, was not necessarily for wildlife per se, but the opportunity to shoot some things out in nature, but then also focus on urban settings as well, if that's where we go. I also brought along my Nisi filter system, and again, while that tends to focus more on, like, you know, sunsets and stuff like that, you know, I do of course have the ND filter, so if we find ourselves near water, I can do some longer exposures with that as well. And I've got my adapter plates set up so that I can put them on the filters on the 12-100, and I can put them on the 7-14. So I've got a lot of leeway here, a lot of different things I can pull off today, and I'm just gonna sit back, maybe grab a cup of coffee real quick while I wait for Seth to arrive, and I'll check back in with you guys in a little bit. Alright, I've taken 3 photos so far, and that's it. But I'm trying to get myself down into this ravine where we've got some overflow from the river. I'm actually searching out wildflowers today. I think that's kind of what I'm going to focus on, seeing as how I brought the 60mm macro with me. You can see everybody else is kind of back up there, and somebody's making their way down towards me. Yeah, so see what I can find. So far, for me, a lot of it's just been about hanging out and, you know, shooting the breeze with everybody, talking about photography. So I'll shut this off, and next time I turn it on, hopefully I'll have something interesting to shoot. I'm gonna shut your tailgate for you, Seth, before we go. All right, so we're heading out. We're gonna head in and do some city and urban shooting in Grand Rapids. Had a lot of fun shooting snakes. Yay, snakes are cool. And like I said, wildflowers. And now it's time for something completely different. So we'll check in a minute. All right, let me get you guys all in focus. Wait. Why am I getting you in focus? I should be in Grand Rapids, downtown, street shooting, right? Change of plans. So we did go shooting, and I did record a little bit of video, but it wasn't really that exciting, and I didn't really focus on that a whole lot. Instead, I just focused on shooting and having fun with my friends. So rather than share that stuff, I'm going to close this video out with just a really quick review of the gear that I took. Because I mentioned it at the beginning of the video that I might do that, and well, if you're watching this far, this is what you're getting. So here it is. This is what I packed all day in the woods and downtown. I think we probably walked about 4 miles downtown and 3 or so in the woods. And it was comfortable all day long. So again, it's the VEO Discover 46 and the VEO 265 AB aluminum tripod. Now, as you can see, they're bundled together, which is, I think, perfect because they go so well together. The bag is actually designed to hold this tripod. And you can see it's got a little pouch at the bottom here that you can put 2 of the legs and the head in, and then the strap system at the top to secure it to the bag. So that when you're wearing it, I never can do this gracefully, apologies. perfect. Easy to walk around with. Strap system's comfortable. Then again, you know, as light as the tripod is, it's not like it's going to be a burden on my back anyway. So, works out very well. Now let me take this off and talk about each one of these things individually before we end this video. So just undo the strap, and the little pouch at the bottom has this little, I don't know what you call these things, it's like a drawstring bead. It's a little bead with a button on it. You just pull that up and then just kind of undo this from the bottom here and pull her out. Pull it out. Well, it's definitely not going to fall out on accident. There we go. I'll just throw that right there. Talk about the 265 AB first. So like I said earlier, I already have a version of this tripod, but I've got the CB, the carbon fiber one. So what's the difference between carbon fiber and aluminum? Well, you should already know that. What's the difference as far as the tripod is concerned between carbon fiber and aluminum? Well, let's talk about it. For one thing, weight. The weight is a little different on the carbon fiber. It is a little bit lighter, but the carbon fiber is definitely more forgiving. If you are clumsy like me and fall up against your tripod leg, it won't bend, it'll just flex and go back into shape. Did that on one of my other tripods. Aluminum, not quite as forgiving in regards to that. But this is the thing. Because there's not a huge difference in weight, I say go for this. If your budget doesn't permit carbon fiber, you don't need the flexibility and forgiveness of carbon fiber. You don't need the resistance to cold that carbon fiber would give you. You ever grab an aluminum tripod when it's cold? Brr. If you don't need those things, go with the aluminum. It's significantly cheaper. It's darn near as light. All the feature set is the same on the tripod. You've got the quarter twist locking legs, so literally a quarter twist, and you can extend and collapse the legs. The center column collapses just like it does on the carbon fiber tripod, which is actually holding the camera that you're looking through right now. And the way that the center column collapses is you just have this little nut right here. Give it a little twist, center column collapses down, and you've got a nice compact shape. Another thing that I like about these tripods too is the feet. Typically most tripods that I've had experience with in the past from other companies tend to have like a round foot, and that round foot may or may not thread in and out to expose a spike. And this one doesn't have that. Instead what it's got is it's got these angled feet, and these angled feet actually come in really handy. If you're on flat ground, the highest point of those feet are what rest on the ground, and they give you a really good surface to sit on, very grippy. But if you're on something that's not even, because these feet end up angling at a couple different angles, it'll always rest flat when you start extending these legs out. You notice I extended the leg out, and I don't know how many degrees this is because protractor, no. But you'll see that you still have a flat surface here. And if you extend it out even further, again, another flat surface. It's pretty slick. Now if you've got the legs extended out this far, you've got this center column here, it's pretty long, right? You're not going to be super low to the ground. And what's cool about that is Vanguard actually supplies you with a stubby center column, which I've got in a bag back here that I'm not going to grab right now. But it's just this little short stubby, yeah, it's in a bag. Little short stubby center column, right? That you mount your ball head to. And then that way your camera's going to sit really low. So when you do have the legs extended way out like this, I can't believe I'm doing this just to show you. You could actually sit right down on the ground, and your camera base is going to be about like, about right in there. Gives you a really low profile. I'll admit, it's not something that I take out of the bag very often. I've done it a couple of times at the beach to get a shot, but generally I'm pretty happy with just using the center column where it's at, or lowering the center column, there we go, down like this, and then maybe bringing the legs out, not quite all the way. The head on this tripod, what do you want me to say? It holds up a 300mm f4 with a teleconverter on it, on an EM1 Mark II with a battery grip. Granted, that's not like a full frame camera with a 600mm, but hey, that's my decision for shooting with micro four thirds. I can get away with that focal length equivalency on a lighter system. But this head will hold that with no problem. I've done several long exposure shots using the 300mm f4 on this ball head. The ball head does not droop or sag, none of that. rock solid. So bravo to Vanguard for coming up with a great ball head design that's really rock solid. So again, that's the 265 AB. I wish they would make it AL, like aluminum, not AB, like aluminum build. I don't know, maybe that's what it is. I know, I talk fast. I get excited when I'm talking about equipment sometimes. Let's move on to the bag. I'm going to have an outtake reel. This is the Discover 46, the VEO Discover 46. You saw me load out the bag before we left to go shooting, and some of the features to touch on with this bag are, it's a backpack, right? We already went over that. I showed you that I was wearing it like a backpack with a tripod on it. But it's also a sling bag. So these two straps can actually zip together, and I'll do that for you. Because you know what? I've already recorded this once before, and I didn't have my mic powered up, so I didn't have any audio. So I'm doing this for a second time just for you. So you can see the straps zip together. Now why would I zip the straps together? Well, maybe I want to wear this as a sling. And I don't have the straps extended all the way out to make it fit like ideally how I would if I was really going to be wearing it as a strap. But this is just like made for TV stuff, right? I just kind of really quick impromptu set it up to do this for you. Now, one of the benefits of wearing it as a sling bag, obviously, is going to be that you don't have to take it off to access your gear. Wait, but you saw me have to open the back of the camera bag up to get gear out, right? Well, let me change things up a little bit. You can actually side access this bag. I have a carabiner on this side so I remember which side to unzip, because you can actually access this bag from both sides. But there we go. This is where I would access my camera from. If I was an idiot like the first time I recorded this without any volume, I'd have the bag on the other way and I would access it from this side where I couldn't get at my camera. But you didn't need to know that. So yeah, side access from the bag. And like I said before, what I had in here was the EM1 Mark II with the 12-100 on it. And that fit in this spot perfect. Plenty of room for that. Also in the bag, which you see me load up, I had a 7-14 millimeter. I had a 45 millimeter f1.2 and a 60 millimeter macro. And I also had in the bag my entire Nisi filter system, which is like 6 or 7 glass plate filters in a big padded pouch, as well as 2 adapter plates to hold them onto 2 different kinds of lenses. All of that fit in this bag. And that was with the standard configuration of this bag. So I'll just show you really quick again what the standard configuration looks like. And I'm probably going to revisit this bag at some point with you guys to tell you what I ended up finding was the ideal configuration for my setup. And the cool thing is that it's all Velcroed in there. I mean, you can change your configuration to whatever you want it to be. Like I said, I just left it in the default. Camera body sat right there. Lens protruded this way. One lens here. Actually, the filter system went right there. A lens right here, a lens right there, and I actually tucked another lens right up in this little nook right here. All of that fit in here with no problem. So what do you think? I'm pretty stoked on it. Like I said, it gives me a nice smaller backpack that I can take out on expeditions. Listen to me, expeditions. I live in Michigan. They're not really expeditions, they're just outings. But perfect size, not too big, definitely not too small, because I can put a fair amount of gear in this thing. I guess that's it, you guys. I just kind of rattled through this as fast as I could because, again, this is the second time I've recorded this. And I'm just going to leave it to you guys to put your questions in the comment section below. Ask me anything about any of the Vanguard gear, but if you've got specific questions about the Discover 46 bag or the 265A for aluminum, AB tripod, it's a, again, travel compact tripod, just let me know. Or if you got questions about any of the other gear from Vanguard or Olympus or Nisi or any of those brands that I represent, again, feel free to leave it in the comments below, and I'd love to chat with you about it. You guys take care, and I'll see you the next time I go out shooting.